Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting bringing you this news alert. The Equifax credit reporting agency, that's one of the big three credit reporting agencies in the country, might even be the world, I'm not sure, but definitely in the country. They reported today that there's been a breach of their system and that data was compromised and that the intruders got access to personal data, personal info from, I kid you not, 143 million Americans. That would be about almost half of the American population. This info included credit card numbers, driver's license numbers, social security numbers, and other kinds of personal info. I will say I did read that there were only 209,000 credit card numbers stolen. So that's part of the bright side of this, even though that's a lot. But it is a huge breach, and we wanted to come on and talk about it here tonight. We're going to show you some of the stories out about it and also get your feedback on it. So if you have any thoughts on this during the broadcast, you can write to me on Twitter at Lookner, Lookner. And there seems to be an issue with our news ticker. Let's see if I can get it working again. What happened to it? Where'd it go? Hang on, guys. Let me get the ticker up here. That's unfortunate. We got to have the ticker. Oh, now it's not. We're almost there. Sorry, guys. It was working before. Here we go. We should be good. There we go. Hey, let's see if it's working when I go to the article. There we go. Whoa, we're all set. Everything is good. So we're going to talk now about this. But as I was saying, if you have feedback, I'd love to hear what you think about this story. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting. So let's look at the story right now. The first ones to report it were Bloomberg, and this is their initial story that came out this afternoon. Equifax says cyber attack may have hit 143 million customers. So let's just take a peek at this story. It's not long. Let's read through it. It says, Equifax Incorporated said its systems were struck by a cyber attack that may have affected about 143 million U.S. customers of the credit reporting agency, shedding light on one of the largest and most intrusive breaches in history. One of the largest and most intrusive breaches in history. By the way, I forgot to mention before I get more of this, in case you're not aware, Equifax is a credit reporting agency. They do things like if you're going to buy something, if you're going to get a loan from somebody to buy something, they will report on your credit history. They keep detailed credit history of people. If a company is dealing with another company, you can get a credit history about another company. But from what I understand, you know, like if you apply for an apartment, they check your credit history. This is one of the big companies that rates your credit. So they have access to all of your purchase histories and stuff and financial transactions and stuff like that. So they're a huge credit reporting agency. Anyways, let's go back to the story. So they have this huge breach. We'll continue. Intruders accessed names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and driver's license numbers. Oh, goody, they got all that stuff. Equifax said in a statement, credit card numbers for about 209,000 consumers were also accessed, the company said. Equifax shares dropped more than 8% in after-hours trading. This is clearly a disappointing event for our company and one that strikes at the heart of who we are and what we do. I apologize to consumers and our business customers for the concern and frustration this causes, Chief Executive Officer Richard Smith said. You'd think, that of all the companies that should not be having cyber breaches, credit rating agencies with financial information and detailed financial histories and all this personal info on you would be right up there. Let's continue with the story. The company set up a website, www.equifaxsecurity2017.com, that consumers can use to determine whether their information was compromised. It's also offering a free credit file monitoring and identity theft protection. Supposedly that website is not actually working. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The incident is a stark reminder of the risk of consumers' personal data being exposed online. It's particularly worrisome for the millions of people who trust credit reporting agencies like Equifax to handle and protect their financial information. Then this other story came out, which I'm going to get to in a second, about 3 Equifax managers sold stock in Equifax once they found out about the hack, but before the hack was revealed. So that's happening too. Let's keep going though. Criminals took advantage of a U.S. website application vulnerability to gain access to certain files from mid-May through July of this year, Equifax said. The intruders also accessed dispute documents with personal identifying information for about 182,000 customers. So let's just see. Equifax has been hit by credit breaches in the past. This is the most high-profile cybersecurity breach since online portal Yahoo reported 2 separate incidents. Last year, Yahoo, blah, 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 a breach affecting 500 million customers. Okay. Anyways, so that's the initial story. And then I also want to show you, it referred to the story, in that story it referred to this story. 3 Equifax managers sold stock before a cyber hack was revealed. And this story says, from Bloomberg as well, 3 Equifax Equifax Incorporated or Incorporation? Incorporated, I think. Senior executives sold shares worth almost 1.8 million in the days after the company discovered a security breach that may have compromised information on about 143 million U.S. customers. Then it lists the people. One person sold 946,000 worth of shares. Another sold 250,000 shares on August 2nd. So one of them sold 584,000 worth of shares. And this was all about like a month and a half ago. And now the shares already lost, and after I was trading, lost 8% tonight. Anyways, so that happened. That's fun. And also I want to show you this about the, Equifax. So they put up a website where you can supposedly go and find out if you were hacked, but if your information was hacked. But supposedly that site isn't working. Check out this article from TechCrunch. It says, so the headline is, Equifax data breach help site leaves consumers with more questions than answers. And if we go down here, we can see Equifax just announced a massive data breach. It's shaping up to be one of the largest hacks of all time. The information came mostly from U.S. residents, but a percentage also involved UK and Canadian citizens, and the company is working with authorities from these countries. The company established a website to allow consumers to see if their data was stolen, but it's broken and only registers the users for Trusted ID, a credit monitoring service owned by, wait for it, Equifax. Equifax says that this site will indicating whether your personal information may have been impacted by this incident. That is false as of this post's publication. The company also says it will provide the checker with an option, quote unquote, to enroll in Trusted ID Premier. That's also false. When a user inputs their data into the system, a message appears that says that the user will be enrolled in Trusted ID Premier at a later date. Mine was 9/11/2017. This is completely irresponsible by Equifax. We have a note out to the company asking for clarification about this site's capabilities and function. Until questions are answered, I would avoid using the site. That is from TechCrunch. And in case you were wondering about Equifax, what does it say on their Twitter right now? Well, they tweeted this. We recently discovered a cybersecurity incident involving consumer information. Once discovered, we acted immediately to stop the intrusion. I wonder if this tweet came after the Bloomberg article came out. Anyways, we apologize to our customers for the concern and frustration this causes. Learn more, EquifaxSecurity2017.com. That's the site that the TechCrunch article said wasn't really working and made people enroll in the Equifax-owned Trusted ID protection program without actually asking them whether they wanted to enroll. So we are covering the story here about Equifax. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Do you have any comments, any thoughts on this? Are we going to all get letters soon saying that we have to change our credit card numbers? Well, it might not all be that, but like if they could have a lot of our driver's license numbers now, and our addresses, and our social security numbers. Oh, that sounds great. But let me know if you have any thoughts on this. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, Be sure to subscribe to Right Side Broadcasting because we do these live breaking news updates all the time. We're going to be doing ones about the hurricane too. So if you want to get hurricane coverage, news coverage, subscribe to us at Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you get notified. I should also thank I see Webster, Guinevere, and JC, and all the other chat moderators doing their job in the chat room. And finally, we are viewer supported, so if you like our coverage, please consider donating to Right Side Broadcasting. Your donations keep us on the air. You can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can just click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat room. Okay, I'd love to hear what you think about this story. Clinton Body Count writes in, as someone who has had their identity stolen in the past, this really scares me. They should put an automatic fraud alert on all the compromised accounts. You're saying you should get a fraud alert, I would assume. Sorry about your identity being stolen, Clinton Body Count. I've never had that happen, but it sounds really terrible. And I'm guessing if these people have your driver's license number and your address and your social security number, they could probably do a lot with that in terms of stealing identities. And again, the info of 143 million Americans was compromised. Which when you take out I don't know, are babies even in the system? Because if kids under 3 aren't in the system, then you're probably basically talking about half the population. Yassine Kaisem says, what can Trump do against these hack attacks? Well, I mean, it's, whether you're talking about Trump or Congress or any other authorities, I don't know, perhaps a problem with this is, when a company loses your information, I don't believe anyone ever goes to jail for that unless somebody at the company was personally involved in giving your information to somebody. If there's just a security breach, the company can get sued, but no one ever individually goes to jail for these kind of things. So I don't know. I mean, look, now I will say this, there's a financial motivation for the company to not have this happen because now they're going to have a stain on their reputation, Equifax. So, but there have been so many breaches of large companies and personal info lately. Maybe they're just not motivated. Maybe they don't want to spend the money to, or maybe first of all, it might be impossible for them to protect from these things. That could be one case, that they literally cannot protect from all kinds of hackers and all kinds of hacks. Another thing might be they might think, well, it costs too much, and that companies get hacked into once in a while, but it's kind of normal now. So it'd be really bad if it happens, but it's not going to kill the company, so it's not worth us spending the money. I mean, we can think about all different kinds of reasons that they might not do this stuff, or either they can't or they won't protect the information. But it is just becoming so common. Again, I'll say it again. You would think one of the kinds of companies with the most protection on personal info would be a credit rating agency. I'm going to check some more comments here from you guys. Reagan Better says, how long before the Russian speculation with Equifax? I haven't been watching the mainstream media coverage of this at all. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some mention of Russia. Maybe there isn't. Look, this could be, how about, look, I'll tell you what you could get speculation is that North Korea, because North Korea has been suspected in hacks in the past. Well, North Korea was suspected in the malware hack, the one that affected the British hospitals where they asked for money. There was a lot of suspicion on North Korea. If they're looking for money, if a hacker, say North Korea was hacking looking for money, I don't know if this would be the best way to do it, because this doesn't necessarily give you money. It gives you the ability to steal identities. So I don't know, but there could be speculation on North Korea or Russia. But at the same time, I'm sure there are plenty of independent cyber criminals out there who love having this kind of information. John D. Shirley says, in response to the report that 3 Equifax managers sold stock before a cyber hack was revealed, John D. Shirley says, can you say #SEC violation? I also wanted to show you, I had some tweets I wanted to show you about this. So again, this is Right Side Broadcasting. We are covering the story that Equifax has reported that they've had a data breach, which has exposed social security numbers, driver's license numbers, names, address, personal info, credit card numbers of about 143 million Americans. Only 209,000 credit card numbers were stolen, but no word on the rest of that information. I wanted to show you some of the tweets up about Equifax. A lot of people are making fun of Equifax on Twitter right now. So for example, Equifax, we may have leaked your social security number. Also Equifax, give us your social security number to see if we leaked it. That's from Alice Goldfuss. Other more jokes about it. Patrick Moynihan writes, this Equifax data breach might turn people against credit agencies, which they normally love. Big story though, NBC Nightly News reporting it. A lot of memes about the Equifax hack and stuff. I want to see if there's anything else in the. And this is their site, by the way. This is the Equifax site you're supposed to go to if you got hacked. And it says cybersecurity incident and important consumer information. It's their press release. And they say basically what the article said. They do say, the first thing they say is it's supposed to be good news. No evidence of unauthorized access to core consumer or commercial credit reporting databases. So they say that, but then they say it's a cybersecurity incident potentially impacting approximately 143 million U.S. customers. Oh, we can. Let's see what Rick Smith, chairman and CEO of Equifax, said about this. Let's play the video.
As you're probably aware, earlier today we announced a cybersecurity incident that has impacted those who rely on us to protect their personal information. I want to take a few minutes to talk with you about it and make sure you have the facts. Most importantly, I want to let you know what we're doing to help those impacted by this event. On July 29th of this year, we discovered that attackers had gained unauthorized access to certain Equifax data files. We acted immediately to stop the intrusion. We promptly engaged a leading cybersecurity firm, which has been conducting a comprehensive forensic review to determine the scope of the intrusion. We also reported the event to law enforcement and continue to work with authorities. The unauthorized access occurred between mid-May and July. I'm pleased to report that the review found no evidence of unauthorized activity on our core credit reporting databases. This is clearly a disappointing event and one that strikes at the heart of who we are and what we do. I deeply regret this incident, and I apologize to every affected consumer and all of our partners. We all know that the threats to data security are growing by the day. And while we've made significant investments in cybersecurity, we have more to do, and we will. This incident is a test for all of us at Equifax. It tests our values, and it's a test to our resolve. I know you'll all agree that our first priority must be to support consumers. To that end, we're taking unprecedented step of offering every U.S. consumer in the country a comprehensive package of identity theft protection and credit file monitoring at no cost. We also opened a special call center and launched a dedicated website to provide consumers with information they need to manage their personal situation. We're also reaching out to our business customers, regulators, and other government officials to brief them on the situation and our ongoing actions. Today is a humbling experience for all of us. Equifax will not be defined by this incident, but rather by how we respond. Together, we will serve our customers, support consumers, and strengthen our data security capabilities. In the process, we will build a stronger company with many great days ahead. This is my commitment to each of you and to all of our valued partners. Thank you.
So that was Rick Smith, chairman of Equifax, chairman and CEO of Equifax. One thing I didn't realize, they're actually offering every single American person. They said every American consumer, which basically just means every person, every American person, American citizen, a free identity theft protection and credit file monitoring. But again, the company that's doing that is a company that, according to TechCrunch, is owned by Equifax. So that's kind of weird. To me, if you're gonna offer everybody free credit monitoring, identity theft protection, and credit file monitoring, I mean, I would think that it'd be better to not offer it from a company that you own, just so you're not accused of you're not accused of self-dealing and trying to promote your own credit monitoring company, and B, because people might say, well, if you got hacked, why wouldn't the credit monitoring company that you own get hacked in the future? So anyways, that's happening. But let me know what you think about all this. We're covering the story that, as we said before, an Equifax data breach, this one here, Equifax data breach may have hit 343 million customers, where hackers got their virtual hands on driver's license numbers, social security numbers, credit card numbers, addresses, names, I believe other information too, if I may be leaving something out. And and this story was also, we talked about this, 3 Equifax managers sold stock before the cyber hack was revealed, but they had found out about it. Let me know what you're thinking. This is Right Side Broadcasting. And if you want to get coverage, if you want to know when we're coming on the air with stories like this, we cover live news all the time. We're going to be covering the hurricane a lot this weekend. So if you want to know when we're going on the air with our videos, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. That way you'll get notified whenever we come on the air live. Also, really want to hear what you have to think about, what you have to say about this story. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Feel free to follow me as well. I cover a lot of breaking news stuff on my Twitter. You can follow Right Side Broadcasting at @RSB Network. And last but not least, remember, we are viewer supported, so if you like our coverage, please consider making a donation. Even small ones really help. You can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat room. Roxanne Harrington writes, so they will know me and my husband bought our house 7 years ago and I bought a car last year. Pretty boring information, but I'm worried about my social security number for sure. I hope I wasn't affected. Thank you for coming on with more information about the breach. I was wondering exactly what happened. You are welcome, Roxanne. JC says, Steve, what the F was that? I guess you're saying about the CEO's message. I call bull on Equifax, cop out. Clinton Bodycowd says, I am a former ex-fraud investigator for a large bank. Fraud alerts are free. Just call the big 3 and say you want an alert if your information has been compromised. Can be extended for up to 2 years or longer with a simple police report. No credit will be issued without the reporting agency contacting you first. Huge problem with fraud rings in the US. Russia is one of the big ones. Violet Dunn's comment on this story was, oh crap. And I want to see if there are any other updates about this story. I've been checking Twitter, checking some different sources. Oop, that's not what I wanted to check. Here we go. And the jokes about Equifax continue. Equifax, the credit agency that lost all credit. So you can see thousands, if not millions, of these jokes on Twitter tonight. Josh Marshall says, upside of Equifax story is that there probably aren't many more identities to steal, so the whole identity stealing industry may collapse. So that is the story about Equifax. I guess we'll all hear at some point soon if our information might have been breached. Like, just think of the costs for them to like just mail everyone a letter who's affected by this. If it costs $1 to print the paper and put it in the mail and everything, that's $143 million. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us probably have had, for all, some of us probably, they have our driver's license number and or social security number and stuff. So not a good deal to know that. But also not a good deal that this was known apparently back at the end of July or early August, because that's when the 3 Equifax executives, managers, reportedly, according to Bloomberg, sold Equifax stock after they found out about the breach, but before it was released, information about it was released. I'm wondering that Equifax released this information only because Bloomberg had a story on it today. That's kind of worrying. Were they just not going to tell anyone that this breach happened? I don't know. But a lot of worrying stuff about this story. So if we hear anything more, we'll let you know. I'll post on my Twitter if I hear anything more about this. So you can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I know some of you were asking about the hurricane coverage. There's going to be hurricane coverage. As you probably heard, the hurricane is supposed to be right now headed for basically a direct hit with the tip of Florida, and maybe even go up the middle of Florida. That would be kind of a worst case scenario. A lot of us were hoping it would go east of Florida and maybe miss the Florida, but looks like it's on track to hit Florida, at least for right now. We're watching it. We will definitely come on the air with coverage when it gets closer to the U.S. We might even come on the air sooner than that, depending on where it is and what kind of interaction it's having with certain islands. We're keeping an eye on the Bahamas right now, the Turks and Caicos Islands. So we're going to come on and cover that. But if you want to see our coverage and know when we're coming on the air, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell, and that way you'll get a notification whenever we come on live. Ace Trades just gave $2 and said, it's great that you are live covering this. Thank you, Ace Trades. This is one of these stories where it's like, I think it's an important story. We think it's an important story. You might see this on the mainstream media a bit because it's kind of big, but we feel it deserves live coverage and deserves, a nice live stream where we can talk about it in detail. And, because it's one of these stories that can kind of slip through the cracks. You see some headlines, but we want to cover this stuff. We think it's important. So glad you think so, Ace Trades. Thank you for the donation. So I think for right now, Witcher King writes in, if execs sold shares using knowledge the public didn't have, isn't that insider trading? I'm not an expert, but my guess is that violates some kinds of securities law, that they would sell those shares based on that private knowledge. So I'm guessing that's some kind of violation. I would think that'd be a criminal violation. So yeah, I don't know what the penalties are exactly, but that seems pretty serious though, if that's what they did, as Bloomberg reported, sold shares with knowledge of the security breach before the public knew about it. So I would guess yes, Witcher King. Oh, a couple more messages here. Let's see. Dennis Ziolkowski writes in, I'm working at a hosting company and I'm the developer of the front end and back end there. I'm aware that it is very hard to close doors for unauthorized access. But in my opinion, it shows a bad key management when the breach is on that large number over the large time. Technically, this different information is stored on other locations or doors. And open access for data mostly concerns only one part of the application, website, or software. I think there must be something fishy about this breach. I'm interested what group of hackers will claim this task. When not, we know there has to be something internally or even other countries included. So what you're saying, Dennis, is that you're suspicious here because this is such a large breach, 143 million people. And what you're also saying is that it took place over a long amount of time. So it took place, according to the story I read, it took place between mid-May through July. That's a good point, Dennis, that this was going on for like 6-7 weeks or something like that. So that makes you suspicious of this hack. I don't know enough about it to know what that would tell you, but those are interesting points. It wasn't just like a one-day thing. It was over 7 weeks, and 143 million people's information was compromised. So thanks, Dennis, for writing in. Becky Whitmer said, I live in Indiana and our local news sources had a link on their Facebook post that you could put in your last name and the last 6 digits of social and it would tell you if you were at risk or not. I was not one of them. I think that might have been this site from Equifax. They were offering to tell people, oops, There we go. They were offering to tell people about whether they were compromised. So I'm trying to think, is there a place on here? Potential impact? Is this where you do it? See if your personal information is I'm not doing this. As somebody said, you have to give them your social security number. I don't think I want to do this, but you can see if your personal information is potentially impacted. Hold on, I'll get rid of the graphics. You can check, you have to provide your last name and the last 6 digits of your social security number. I almost want to do it. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to let you see the last 6 digits of my social security number. So I'm going to do this right now. Here we go, guys. I am live on the air seeing if I was impacted by this. I could get very angry in a second. Let's see. My fingers are crossed. What's it going to say, guys? Was I impacted or not? Let's see. Oh, it looks like... Wait, this is... So it looks like I maybe was impacted? But here's what it did. It didn't tell me if I was impacted, but it automatically enrolled me in this thing. What if I don't want to be entrusted Premier? Now I'm enrolled. Oh, what a pain in the butt. Now I got to deal with this after the stream. So I did what it said. It didn't tell me whether I was impacted or not, but it enrolled me in the Equifax owned Trusted ID Premier Credit Watch ID Protection Service. Oh, this is awful. Does it say anything on the facts page on how I can cancel this membership that I didn't want? Let's see, FAQs. How do I cancel the membership I didn't want? Let's see. Well, all right. Now how? It's weird though. I'm enrolled, but they don't have my personal information. So it says here, you're enrolled. Okay. All I gave them was my last name and my last 6 digits of my social security number. So I don't understand what being enrolled, what good that does me. They can't. How do they contact me? They don't have my email address. This is really confusing. Anyways, there's the site. Somebody made a donation. Jimmy B gave $5 and said, I smell an inside job. You never know, Jimmy B, but thank you for donating, Jimmy B. Appreciate it. Well, you just saw what happens when you go to their dumb site and put in your information. They don't tell you anything, and they enroll you in something, and it's very confusing. So, watch. Now I'll start getting billed for it or something. On or after your enrollment date, please return to facttrustedpremier.com and click the link. I'm not completely enrolled because it says on or after your enrollment date, please return to this website and click the link to continue through the enrollment process. Yes, I guess I'm not enrolled. Also, but let me say this. If I wanted to be enrolled, let's say I really wanted to be enrolled, now I have to put it on my calendar and go back here and do more stuff later? Ugh, what a pain. Anyways. Well, that was exciting. JC wrote, no. I think JC was saying I shouldn't have given them the last 6 digits of my social security number. It was for the broadcast, JC. Somebody sent me a link. Oh, that was... TG1518, I saw you sent me a link, but it's not about Equifax, so I'm not going to watch it now. We're going to stay on. I'll try to watch it later. SH7401, yeah, he says, it's Equifax, they have all your info. I agree. I assume Equifax has my info. Yeah, SH7401 says that means you've been impacted if they auto-sign you up for it. I do think it does mean I've been impacted, but who knows? They just might be auto-signing up everybody for it. I mean, there should be some message saying you have or you have not been impacted. But there isn't. Anyways, okay. Hold on. Some more comments here I want to read. James Wagner says, if the hack happened on Equifax, it happened sometime between May and July. That means it took over 1 month to come out. Ridiculous. I agree with your. I agree with your being upset about this, James. Apparently, this hack was found out about at the end of July because we saw a report that. Their managers were several managers were selling stock in Equifax after they found out about the breach at the end of July and in early August. So it did take over 1 month to come out. And I was wondering again, did it only come out publicly because Bloomberg reported on it? And if Bloomberg hadn't reported on it, would Equifax have even revealed this? I do think there's this thing where sometimes companies don't reveal hacks as a policy because there's something about like not wanting to encourage the hackers or something like that. I'm not sure, so there might be that aspect of this, but it's still, they should, to me, if there's a hack like this, they should be telling people about it, not waiting 6 weeks. It just seems that, just off the top of my head, unless there's a good reason not to, unless they were doing some investigation with law enforcement and they want to keep the hack under wraps. Now SH7401 says if you weren't impacted, you just get no as a result. Maybe that's true, SH7401, but they should, how hard is it for them to write a script which just says you may have been impacted, and rather than nothing? Seems like they could do that. Webster Maven writes in, hello Steve, you have just now won the Ethiopian lottery. Just give your bank account info. Thank you, Webster. That was a very suspenseful moment though when I was seeing whether I might have been impacted or not. I guess I was, as were 142,999,999 other Americans. Okay. I think, let me just see if there are other comments here. All right, I think we're going to wrap up the stream right now, but I appreciate you all joining me for this news. I hope you were not affected by this as well, but I'm guessing about half of us are, if not more. So look in the chat room. Half of you were probably affected. Anyways, we'll let you know. I'll let you know if I hear any more about the story. I'll post updates on my Twitter @Lookner. I post a lot of breaking news stuff. Be sure to subscribe to us so you know when we're coming on the air with hurricane coverage. We're definitely going to do it. I can't tell you exactly when. Surely by the time it gets closer to U.S. So I anticipate like Saturday, Sunday, kind of doing like constant hurricane coverage, maybe even tomorrow night. I'll look around tonight and see what's going on with the hurricane. Maybe we'll come on tonight at some point. I'm not sure. But subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you are notified when we have a live video. And also, you can follow us on Twitter for updates @RSB Network. And on Facebook, we're at Right Side Broadcasting. And what else was I going to add here? I was going to say, thank you for the donations, the people who donated. We are viewer supported. So if you like our coverage, please consider donating. To donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Thank you to the moderators in the chat room for doing a great job as usual. And I'm saying goodbye. A lot of people are saying goodbye. Bye to, who said goodbye? Jasmine, Ebiscom, who else? Cine, Music World, October Rains, and a lot of other folks there. I'd like to say some goodbyes during the broadcast. But all right, so we're going to end this stream now. We will keep watching on the hurricane, seeing what's going on with it. We will have coverage at some point in the next couple of days. And we will probably have a lot of it eventually. So we're keeping an eye on it. We will be back eventually with hurricane coverage. And if there's other breaking news, we'll come on the air and cover it for you. But for now, I want to wish everybody a good night. And hope you have a good evening. And just keep an eye out for Right Side because we'll be back on soon with the latest breaking news, hurricane coverage, and whatever else breaking news is going on. But for now, thank you everybody for watching. Have a good evening.